Perfect.
Yeah, that works.
So Vanessa, welcome to the show. It is really cool to have you here. I mean, what better way, right, to have a cool, chilling, epic weekend with someone as badass as you. You know what I mean?
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited for that.
Absolutely. So let's go back in time here a little bit and, tell me how this passion for acting started.
Um, Honestly, it's maybe cheesy to say, but I was kind of like born with it. I always like had it. And growing up, I got to justify it from where it came from, but it was just always there. I always wanted to be a performer of some sort.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. And so was it like that all the time, or was it something else you wanted to be when you were little?
Yeah, like when I was little, I wanted to be like a performer, and then like super early on, I'm like, I want to be an actress, and that's it. I'm stubborn as fuck, so and that was the choice that I made, and I'm sticking to it since.
That's really cool actually. So you only have one goal and you focus on that. Really cool because like when you're little, you want to be something else, right? I mean, either you want to be a policeman or fireman, astronaut, you name it, right? But the fact that since you were little, wanted to become an actor, that's pretty cool actually.
Yeah, like it was at first it was between like acting, like I was watching these like Star Academy shows on TV and like seeing them perform. And so it was like between singing, dancing, performing, but I'm like acting has both, like all of them.
Mm.
Oh yeah, that was it for me.
Okay, okay. So time went by, right? And you started to work on your acting career. But tell me, as time went by, what were some of the challenges that you had?
So I wasn't like born in a privileged maybe family where we had like contacts or like a lot
Okay.
of money. And I was born in like Lebanon and
Oh, okay.
in a city where like, there's not a lot of opportunities there. So the challenges that I had were more about stuff that I was not in control of.
Mm.
I wanted to come here, but I didn't have the finances. I didn't have the connections. I was very far away, and like the visa process is such, it's like a lot of legal things in my way. So these were like
Uh,
challenges that I had to like overcome step by step, breaking it down.
mm.
Okay, what do I need first? It was like I don't like when I like graduated from high school, I made like my calculations. I went to my mom and I'm like, so it's gonna cost me $100,000 per year to go to an acting school in LA. And she's like, well, I don't have that. And I'm like, okay, fuck it. I'm gonna make my own money. And that was my first goal, make that amount of money to be able to move. I came to Vancouver eventually.
Mm.
But yeah, so it was like ticking off step by step. And now I'm like here and I'm like, okay, next goal, be a resident. So I can actually take part of most of the projects,
Mm.
not ticking off that goal. So it's stuff like that.
Wow. And like how challenging was it for you to move to yeah, like a totally different country, totally different language? I mean, everything is different, right? Like how was that like those first months for you when you were basically on your own and you were kind of trying to make that happen?
Um, I think it was a good thing that I didn't really think about
Yeah.
the idea of me coming on my own and starting everything from scratch, like again. Because I kind of had like success in Lebanon, like in my acting career. And then I relocated to Qatar because like it was better, like paying jobs. And then I
Mm.
relocated to here again. So I didn't like really think about it. I was very much excited. But then like when it sets in a bit, reality starts to hit, and I'm like, oh shit, okay, now I see it. You have to literally build everything from scratch in terms of like an emergency contact.
Yeah,
If something
absolutely.
happens, like there's a lot of things that we take for granted. Like if like your group of friends or support or whatever, like yeah, it was the reality of things is not as pretty,
Mm.
but I know that on the other side, it's worth it and it's gonna look so much better. So I'm
Yeah.
like patient and in it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you get the chance to grow up a lot, right? And also you get the chance as well to kind of know how to take care of yourself, without need of either friends, family. And I mean, even though sometimes it can be challenging to move to another state, and now
Yeah,
moving to another country. I mean, it is, and especially a country in which they don't speak your language, they don't they don't know much about your culture, you know, like all of that stuff. It's totally different.
yeah,
So yeah, it can be challenging. I can understand that. So yeah, so then time happened, you make it happen, you started to work more on your acting career. But tell me, like, how you prepare a character. Now you understand, of course, that it depends on
yeah.
the role most of the times, right? But like, what are usually some of the first steps you do, or like, do you have like something you always do before starting up this journey, let's say, of creating a character?
Like I know a lot of actors are very technical about how they do their, text analysis, like script analysis, and just like highlight everything and write notes. I'm more of like feeling it kind of girl. Like I really like to, depending on my character, like really try to imagine how their day-to-day life would be, understand where they're coming from, their shoes, like how I can really portray that authentically. Sometimes it's a very small role and it doesn't require as much, prep, but other times I'm like, I have to dig into research for hours to see like how do they use that machine, or like how is their job, or like how do they feel after 8 hours of that job every day, like they must be exhausted, or just really trying to live in their skin, um and like see how I feel in it, like under these imaginary circumstances. Yeah, like just truthfully, in a way I try to prepare a character.
Mm.
um and like I'm more like I like to run the script and like see each time what I can get, and like based on like my instincts. So I could run it one way, and then okay, I sense something, and then I'm like, okay, let's try different ways, like really different ways, just to see what I can get, and then I could combine good things from each and put them in one performance.
Mm. Okay. Okay. Wow. All right. And has it ever happened to you that you were creating this character, but it took you more than usual? You know, that there was something about this character that you were like, that took you most of the time. Has it ever happened that to you?
Um, like there was, I did once an audition that was not in a language that I speak,
Mm.
and it was like 5 pages of text, and I'm like, I'm not gonna take on the challenge. And it took me 4 days to memorize it because it was like, okay, I know how to pronounce it, but I have like no idea what those, like I kind of had the English translation, but I did not know at all what each word would mean, and just like memorizing elf language and then performing it and make it feel like, like really that you know what you're saying.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That was a tough one, but like there's another one that I had where it was like giving birth.
Oh.
And you watch performances, like your research, you watch performances, and like every woman portrays it so differently. It's crazy. And I'm like, I cannot put my finger on it. Like, I don't know what to feel in that moment to like act that way. So I went and had conversations with mothers or husbands who witnessed their wives giving, like who were in the room where their wives was a neighbor. And then I kind of gathered that data, and like just in the moment having all that, like I was lucky that on set they were there, and like when I was doing the screams they were just like guiding me, like no, it has to be like more like grounded, or just like you have to feel it from there. And that was not an easy one, but I think I like some of the people watched like the performance and like had tears in their eyes, so I'm like, I think I did a good job. But yeah, that was a tough one.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. Okay. And like how you break character, you know, whenever you have like this very emotional scene or something, how you manage to, when they say cut, to be like, okay, let's have lunch, or you know, something like
Oh
that.
no, it's not that way at all. It took, when I first like was doing like very heavy emotional scenes, they're like, are you fine, are you okay, like you're like shaking, and I'm like, yeah, I'm okay. And then at night I would have nightmares about where I went in my head to get to that emotion.
Totally.
So I kept like asking, when taking like acting classes, asking teachers like, just give me tools how to get out of it. And like, not no one really had an answer, because everyone
Mm.
was with it very differently. And they're like, you have to meditate, maybe get a hug, like get support. So I like kind of, make the director or like the team aware that when you say cut, I need that kind of support, or like I need time to like get out of it, because it's not instant for sure. Like my whole body would be drained.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's so interesting because like for example, with some of the actors that I've interviewed, some of them, for example, sometimes they will do horror scenes, all they
Yeah.
were, all they were like literally dressed up as monsters. And what is funny is that, for example, whenever they will have like this very intense scene with the monster or something like that, right? So they will walk on set and they will see the monster full makeup, full scary and everything, but tweeting, or drinking Starbucks, or even smoking, or like something like that. That it
Yeah,
gets
yeah, yeah.
that it gets like really surreal when you're like what is going on here, and then you shoot the scene, and sometimes the monster would say like after the scene they say cut, and they're like, "Do you want to have lunch?" And you're like, "What?"
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
something like that. So that is so cool. The fact that everybody has like their own thing to break character. For some, it takes a little bit more longer process, and for some of them they're like, okay, let's do the next one, or
yeah.
things like that. Okay.
Yeah, some can like switch very easily, like from the very, like the famous actors, they have like different ways. Some like to stay in character the whole time, and some can switch like on and off between it.
Yeah.
Uh, I've tried like different ways to see like like if I want to stay in one character for a long time, and it is very draining. So now I'm getting better at like switching to go into it, but still like the effect after performing
Mm.
a lot of crying or shouting, or it's still like it's you, like it's real, you're feeling it,
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. And now that you mentioned before auditions, tell me, what has been the funniest audition you ever had?
Oh my God, I've done like so many. um I think the funniest one was like in Lebanon. We were like auditioning for a commercial,
Mm.
and I went into a room and it was full of, I don't know, maybe like 40 girls who looked like me.
Okay.
Okay. So it was like for an Egyptian TV channel,
Mm.
promo for it, and the director was British and she was a bit late. So when she came, like we were literally like all in the room, and she's like, all right, she's late, and like, she has to make it quick. So she's like, let's do group auditions. She put us like all in like circle, and she's like, all right, I want you each to just like say it, like when your turn comes, like tell me a speech. Okay, just like step up and say a speech. And like the girls started, like they were so awkward about it. They're like, they don't know what to say. And like we're speaking in Arabic, she's British.
Mm.
So when my turn came, when I had my turn, I'm like, if I want to think about it, like of course there's like the TV producer or whatever, like they all understand the language, but I'm like, she's the one making the decision and she does not understand the language that I speak. So I'm just gonna play it confident. I like stepped up very confident, and I'm like, I'm gonna say it in English now, but it was like in Arabic.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I was like, I have no idea what I'm saying. I have no clue about the words that are coming out of my mouth, but I'm just gonna keep talking and talking and talking, and I just kept like that for like a whole minute, and she was like just looking like, like the confidence and like the
Mm.
words coming out of my mouth were nothing,
Yeah.
meant absolutely nothing. And I did book the part eventually, but that was, I'm like, I can't
Wow.
believe like we could fool like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. And what, yeah, like what advice could you give to new upcoming actors who are just making the first steps doing auditions? Like, what could you say to them?
The first step to make auditions, I feel like um it would be like confidence is a big thing for
Yeah.
an actor. And like there's if you have doubts about yourself, you're not serving anyone. It's not serving you. It's not serving the casting director. Because like you have to believe that people want you to succeed. They want your best. They want to see you shine. And just like own it. Like be confident in your own skin and don't second guess. And if you have questions, ask. Like people are ready to help you. If you're not getting there, like don't be shy to ask for help or try different things, shake it around, and then you'll get there. But yeah, I feel like that, like your mindset is a big thing and an influence. Because a lot of the times, like I'll be helping, like, I don't know, other friends with their auditions and stuff. And it's like you're standing in your own way because you're like, oh, I suck. Oh, I'm like, no, you're a rock star. You're amazing. Like you have to be your biggest cheerleader.
Absolutely. Okay. Now let's say, right, that one day I call you and I tell you, hey Vanessa, I want to become an actor. Now I don't have any experience at all, like literally nothing. Everything of my acting experience was back in high school and in a play, and I think only one role and say one line, and that was basically it. So no experience at all. So
Okay.
what advice could you give to someone, or to me, let's say, that has no experience but wants to switch careers, wants to start on this acting journey?
Well, the first advice would be, there's so many. Okay. First, obviously, start training because it's going to help you so much. Second, choose your community wisely. Like the people that you surround yourself with have to be positive mindset, encouraging people. Because like I cannot tell you how many, I've even had teachers who were so bitter and negative because maybe they didn't make it and then they want to crush you.
Yeah.
So you have to block the noise. Put that mindset in, have that confidence. Just like, like it's not delusional. It's more like it's the only way. You have to really believe in yourself and they will then believe in you. Because if you have no doubts that you're going to make it, everyone's going to support you. So block the noise, choose wisely who you're talking to in terms of like actor friends or community. And like, just know realistically, it's a very uncertain career. 6% of the actors make it. But it is, if it's for you, like deep down worth the shot and you're in it for the long run, like, that it's not going to be overnight, like if
Totally.
you don't mind that when you're 50, you're going to have your first real big role, you're probably in it for the right reasons then.
Yeah.
So like, and hard work pays off. Like there's, like you have to believe it, and everyone will, and put in the hard work and just keep going and like be resilient in a lot of ways, because why the fuck not?
Absolutely. And would you say age is important, because I'm in my 30s, right? So
yeah,
I wanna start acting. Of course so my point here is that would you say that the age could be a problem or not at all?
So it depends if you're thinking about it of like, do you mind playing older characters when you're old? Because there's like literally acting is for all ages. So if you're set to like, okay, I want to be an actor because I just want to play that like high school student or whatever, I mean, technically it's gonna take time for you to get started, right? Technically,
yeah, absolutely.
But like if you don't mind like the age of the role that you're gonna be playing, like honestly, it doesn't fucking matter at all. They need like all ages, all looks, all everything. And I really feel like there's like two types of like mentalities about it. One that's like a scarcity and one that's like an abundance. And I have the abundance mindset where you believe there's opportunities for everyone, so no, I don't think age is a thing.
That's fantastic, because it is, I mean, it's so, the mind is sometimes, I mean, again, what I've discovered is that the mind itself is very interesting, because sometimes it can be your best friend or your worst enemy, right? And sometimes you will put yourself in the situation in which I can do this because I don't know, maybe I'm too old, which of course, I mean, if I tell you that I want to become a professional athlete in my 30s, then yeah, the chances are very slim. You know, they're like,
Yeah.
okay, you know,
Yeah.
but either acting or something else. I mean, I do think that the age is not the problem. Maybe the problem is your mind who is stopping you for you to make that jump. You know, which is interesting because what I ended up discovering is that sometimes whenever you will have those moments in which you feel scared or not sure about it, then you should definitely do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And like if I don't know, I was like born in a country where we were not sure if we're gonna live the next day because like there was war around us, you
Oh
know?
yeah.
Kind of like put that of like, why not? Like you might die tomorrow.
Mm.
Why not give it a shot for what your dreams of are?
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
go for it. Like what's the worst thing that's gonna happen? You're gonna be rejected for an audition? Everyone does. You
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
rejected 100 times before booking a role, and that's okay. And as long as you're enjoying the process and like you're enjoying that lifestyle and you know realistically like what to expect, like
Mm. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Now, what is your main goal here? You know, like whenever you get the chance to perform, what is the goal you want to achieve on your performance?
I really want to like authentically like deliver that story, you know, like as close as possible. Like I want to make it as truthful as possible to honor the character and the story, and I feel like that's the only way to touch the audience on through a screen, because a lot of people could be watching that relating to that character or to that storyline, or you know, and like and they're connecting with it, and like if they sense that your performance is not like authentic, it's just like it hurts. So
Yeah.
I yeah, like my main goal is like really to like live it, feel it under those imaginary circumstances and those shoes that are not mine, and like deliver what comes out.
Mm. I love it. I love it. Now, let's say that one day,
Mhm.
either Netflix, HBO, Disney Plus, Paramount, you name it, right? They
Yeah.
come to you and say, "We got this idea of a film, all right? So check this out." So it's gonna be basically all of the characters you have played at the moment. They're
Hmm.
gonna gather to celebrate your birthday. Tell me, what would be the name of that film?
Jeez. um I've played like a lot of variety of characters. I would feel like it would be like the Powerhouse and Co.
Mm,
I had like a lot of characters that was like, you know, like very dramatic and like emotionally heavy, but like then it leads to like that, you know, like woman rising above the ashes kind of feel.
mm.
And like also a lot of other characters that are funny. So it would be like, yeah, it's I don't know, I feel like the Powerhouse. And
Okay, okay.
yeah.
And what would it be? Comedy, drama, like dramedy, horror, perhaps? What would it be?
I feel matching the characters that I played, it would definitely be a comedy because like
Hmm.
I played some comedic characters that would have to break the drama.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay. Okay. Now, what about describe? Yeah, like what about describing your whole career on a drink?
yeah. On a drink, like to choose a drink.
Yeah, or you can create one. It's okay.
Okay. I feel like sangria because like
Mm,
you know it's gonna be good no matter what, and it's like you never know what you're gonna get at the same time. Sometimes there's like a lot of fruits in it. Sometimes it's like a popsicle.
mm.
Sometimes it's just like I don't know. They throw things in it. You never know what you're gonna get, but it's always good.
Okay.
I feel
Okay.
like a weird mix in that way.
All right. Let's stick with that. All right. Now, like what motivates you? You know, we all have those days in which we basically just want to quit. You know, we we get this toxic idea in our minds, and we start to think like, oh, this has been a waste of time. I should have done this instead of that. Why this is, you know, like getting inside into all of these toxic thoughts is always way too easy. But
Of course.
when that happens for you, what usually get you yeah, like what usually gets you out of that so you can continue on this path that you have been creating for so many years now?
I try to always like keep my mind sharp about it by like sometimes you do need the help, and it's like listening to an audiobook or reading a book, or just like I have like a fridge and like I write like big quotes on it where like I need like right, let's say I'm worrying so much about something that I shouldn't worry about.
Mm.
I like worrying is the illusion of control, you know? I just like put it there and like seeing it every day. I'm like, yes, just it's a good reminder to like ground me back. Um and it's just like journaling sometimes help. Sometimes even therapy helps, you know, if you want to speak to someone. But like I feel like what motivates me is like this sense of the unknown in a way of like how things could be way better. Like
Okay.
how like you can imagine where you could be, where you could reach. And that's so exciting to me because like you don't know what's gonna happen. You feel like it's something, but you don't know what it is. And it's just like everything's possible. So why dwell on,
Mm.
you know, like kind of step back, see the bigger picture, and you realize how small the things you're dwelling on are like that's stopping you. And you always like have to shift back to like, yep, I'm gonna block that. Thank you for acknowledging these thoughts. They're definitely trying to keep me safe and to keep me grounded, and I appreciate that. But put it aside and continue doing it.
Yeah.
Action and jumping to action does help a lot because like I have a lot of friends who are like maybe very anxious or in their head about it, and I'm like, stop thinking. Like it's good that you know you're aware about that, but it doesn't
Mm.
always help. Like you have to jump to action.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow, I love it. I love it. I love it. I mean, by the way, if you hear dog noises in the background, I mean, I live with three dogs, so
Oh wow, okay.
it tends to get noisy sometimes. But anyway, I mean, what can I say? I mean, it's amazing. You know, I love your career. I love it. The fact that you took a chance. I mean, the fact that you moved to another totally different country. You know, with with nothing but your dreams on it. You know, like to make that happen, and the fact that 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 you are actually doing it. You know, and that you are showing results. I mean, you are proving everybody that it doesn't matter where you're from or that or like your language culture. I mean, if you have a dream you can make that happen, and I know that it must have been super challenging, and sometimes might be still is, but you are doing it, you know. And I mean, that's amazing. I mean, that's really cool.
Thank you. Are
Absolutely.
you are you where are you based?
In Mexico.
Okay. And you have a dream to become an actor?
No.
Okay. Yeah, like
No, not really though. I mean, I started this platform um because I was working in this I work in this company for 3 years, right?
okay.
It was, yeah, it was well paid actually, but the problem was that after the second year, yeah, after the second year, I just felt I started to felt annoyed, you know, because there
Yeah.
were no opportunities to grow up. There were nothing, you know.
Yeah.
Um, and at that moment, COVID was happening, so I started to like to get stressed, you know. Like I was started to question myself, like, is this life really? You know that you grow up like you grow up. You go to college, then you find a job, you will stay there for 40, 50 years, then you retire, then you die. That's it, you know. Like I started to ask myself, like day after day after day, like, is this really life? Like, because this is not the life that everyone was promising me about back when I was little. You know, back when I was little, they were telling me you can do whatever you want, you can achieve great things, blah blah blah, and all of that. But reality was totally different of mine.
Mm.
So I was like, what is going on here? So that started to drag in my head that I really need to do something. You know, like I really need to create something. So I got the idea to create a podcast, but at that moment I didn't know exactly what to do it about. You know, I
Yeah.
was having like every now and then with a coworker, we were like thinking about it, like, oh, we perhaps we can do this or this, like, yeah, whatever. Then one day, yeah, on a Monday, I got into an argument with kind of supervisor team leader, you know. I got into an argument with her, and then on a Friday, my supervisor, they basically set me up and they fired me. Fun, but like the interesting thing here is that when they did that, even though that I was angry, most of it because not having the income, you know, and because we live in a world that we need the money to basically do everything, you know. So that was a very desperate moment. But at the same time, I was relief, because I was like, okay, I feel good now. So let's now create something. And then I saw this guy on YouTube that he interviews actors, but only kind of actors based on video games, voice actors, things like that. But when I saw his video, he was happy, everyone was happy, like nothing but happy vibes. I was like, I want to do that.
Nice.
So I started to kind of create the idea, and then once I started, then I was like, okay, but my thing will be different because I will be interviewing all type of actors, musicians, I mean, you name it. But my
Yeah.
goal here would be to show people that it doesn't matter where you're from, like or like your culture, like whatever. If you want to do something, do it, because at the end, life is super fast, and then one day we will all be 60 or 70s,
Yeah.
and then at that moment, what is the legacy, or like what is the thing that you're gonna give to new generations, or like what is the thing that you can say, I did this to help others, because
Yeah.
I do believe that we come to this world to for something, like for a reason. But of course, it's up to us to discover what is that reason, so yeah, after a year now and almost 500 episodes, or more than 500, I don't know, we're still here. So
Yeah, that's impressive, and I'm sure very inspiring for a lot of like young actors.
yeah, I mean, at the end, my goal here is, if you want to become an actor, here's the thing. If you want to be music, here's the thing. Or if you want to just get motivated by someone who is on that fight, to improve and to become better, I mean, this is a place. Or even if you want to hear a cool chat, this is also the place. I mean, at the
Yeah.
end, my goal here is, if I can either make one person happy or motivate one person, for me, that's mission complete, and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. And like at the end of the day, like everything is hard in life, right? You can
Yeah.
be in a 9 to 5 and it's gonna be hard for you, or you can like be a starving artist and it's gonna be hard for you. You just have to choose your type of heart and stick to it.
Yeah. Like the other day, the other day I was checking this interview that they did to this actor, in which he was saying that life is simple, that everything has a solution. The only thing that doesn't have a solution is death. That's the only thing. But the rest of it, it's cool. Life is beautiful. Why not enjoy it? Of course there will be moments in which they're stressed out or injustices, but that's life. And the best thing you can do is to take them and be like, whatever, and just move forward, because you can't change things. And that is like one of the things that I have discovered with like, especially right now in these days, that we are already get used to get everything fast. You order something on Amazon, boom, you have it the next day. You order something and boom, you have it in the next couple of minutes. And the fact that, for especially like in arts, that it's a process, it's a long process. I can
Yeah.
understand why some people might feel discouraged, or why so many people I would say, you know what, I want to stop doing this, because it's
Yeah.
not working for me. This is a waste of time, like things like that.
Yeah. Like the difference between people who made it and who didn't is that the others quit, right?
Totally, absolutely. And it is very sad, because, for example, in high school, I used to have this in high school, there was this guy who he loved acting, and he was in every school play. I remember he was amazing. Everybody loved. I mean, his performances were epic, super cool. So everybody thought that he was going to take that path. Everybody was like, he's gonna be an actor. I mean, he's killing it. He's a natural, and like literally, I mean, he was. I remember that, just looking the script, boom, ready to go, and it's like, it was really cool. But later on, we all graduated, we all went to different places here and there. In a couple of years, I asked about this guy, like, did he really became an actor, because I haven't seen him in a long. And at that moment, I was barely creating this platform. So I was like, it would be really cool to have him here, because he and I we were in the same school. But then I found out that he quit acting, and I was like, you gotta be kidding me.
Oh.
So that also motivated me to me, like, you know what, this guy is a perfect example of just abandoning something you love. Abandoning something you love because you feel that maybe it's not that maybe you're not good enough, or maybe as I was saying before, I mean, if you put barriers on your mind to not do what you want, you're never gonna
Yeah.
be able to do it, you know. Because for example, if you want to be an actor but you don't have any money, I mean, you have YouTube, you know, you can start looking for some acting classes here and there, get your mind to be like, okay, you know, like getting the idea. I mean, we have internet now, you know, and I think
Yeah.
that is a really cool tool for you to start if you don't have money. And of course, later on, yeah, I mean, you definitely need an acting school for sure. But if you are just barely starting, you know, you can
Yeah.
just start to do, you know.
And honestly, like I know actors who just like would take an acting class a week for so long and it helped them like get there. You don't really need to, because acting schools are very expensive, and I
Oh yeah,
do see like how, so it's not like necessary as long as you're training in any sort of way.
totally, totally. And also
Yeah.
people, and also, right, so some people might think, oh, if I want to become an actor, then I need to move to Hollywood, you know, I need to move there like
Yeah.
right now, you know.
Yeah.
Which, yes, I mean, of course, but you can start in your country and you can start you can start develop your career in your country, and then later on
Yeah.
move to another one and see what happens,
Yeah.
as for example, as like you did, you know.
Yeah, I felt like, because I've had like when I was 16, I think a lot of like I tried to go and network as much as possible, and then I would meet actors who just came back from Hollywood who were in their early 20s,
Mm,
super depressed because they spent the fortune of like their parents on the school, the expenses. Like it's really expensive there, especially if you're international,
yeah,
right? They spent all the money, they gave themselves 1 year there, and then their parents were broke and they had to come back. They were so depressed. And I'm like, well, that's not a smart way to do it, right? Because I was like hearing all those stories. I'm like, no, I don't think it's smart to go. Like it's just kind of, you have, Hollywood is like, the competition is so high. It would be better for you to go if you already kind of have a name. You know, if you already kind of have that portfolio experience, like you
totally,
have something to work with. It's not like a smart place maybe to start off. Before, things were way easier to, like, you know, people would go there and like success stories overnight. It doesn't
totally.
happen anymore.
Mm,
Unless maybe you're a TikTok star. Like, but it's for a different reason because you
yeah,
have
yeah,
that following, right? But right now, like it doesn't, yeah, things have kind of changed, and like you have to be really good on so many levels to be able
yeah,
to compete with that.
yeah, absolutely. And I mean, at the end, I, especially like right now with with this whole difficult, crazy times that we're having, you know,
Yeah.
life is too short at the end, you know. And why not focusing on something that makes you happy, you know? And why not later on try to make that to be try to make that your career, you know, try to make that as your usual job, you know, which sometimes I've discovered that some people might say, I have my job and my hobby. And I would say, yeah, but why not making your hobby your job, you know? And why not trying it? Because one day we'll be, as I said, one day we'll be old, and we will be like, oh, I wish I could have done this
That's,
instead of that, you know. Like
that's
we all have this family member, either uncle or aunt or whatever, who is older and is telling you, oh, when I was your age I was doing this, or I could have done this, you know. Like whenever I hear that, I'm like, okay, I don't want to be that, you know. I don't.
yeah, yeah. You want to be the person who experienced all of it, and hey, maybe you're gonna try it, and midway you're gonna be like, that's not for me. But at least now you know. It's not a
Totally,
regret in your head anymore. You tried it and it's not for you. Now you can jump to the next one, right?
absolutely.
So like, it's always like a learning experience. And like no matter what happens, like you're never gonna please everyone. Some people are gonna hate you and
Mm,
some people love you. And as long as you make peace with that, like it's because an acting career can be hurtful in terms of like there's so many rejections, or like you take it so personal in so
yeah.
many ways. But it's not that, like it has nothing to do with you 100,000, like so many times that really it's like so many other factors. It's not about you.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, it takes a lot of, yeah, it takes a lot of, like, what's the word? Like, to be very focused on, especially on acting, right? That you're gonna get rejected 1,000 times, but that's okay. I mean, at the end, I do, at the end, as an actress one told me, actors don't do films for living; they do auditions.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's for sure.
you know. So
Yeah.
which of
Yeah.
course, I mean, it sucks whenever someone tells you that you're not good at it, you know, or it's even though it feels bad at the moment when you get rejected, but as I was saying before, I mean, I do think that that's life, you know. Sometimes things work out for you, sometimes things might not work out for you, but that's the way it is, you know.
I feel it sucks even more when you're so good, but you have an accent. That's where I'm like, you know, that sigh of like, oh well, we gotta
Yeah,
work on that now. It's not
yeah,
about acting anymore, not about looks, not about, it's like so many things, but that's the game.
yeah,
And
it
you have
is.
to play the game to win it. So
Yeah, this is the way, absolutely. And
yeah.
and as I was saying, I mean, what you do, it's amazing, and what you have accomplished so far, it's badass. I mean, I'm super sure that our next conversation, next time, it would be like, it would be like where I can't put more awards on my wall because it's full, you know, because it is really inspiring, and it's more. I mean, it's super obvious that soon everybody's gonna know like about you, but also about your whole journey to this, which hasn't been easy, but you still being there, you still hang into it, you don't give up. That is super inspiring, and I do think that those either who are watching this now or listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts can totally relate and be like, if she could do it, I can do it too. So
Yeah. Fuck yeah. Because why not?
yeah, yeah, why
Yeah.
not? Absolutely,
Why not?
I love it, Vanessa. I love your whole, yeah, I love your career here. It's super cool. I also want to thank those who are watching this right now, or if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcast, make sure to go follow Vanessa like right now. I mean, the video is over, you know. So what you have to do is to check on the link below, because you will see all of the links there to her social media. Go follow her. Let's make her viral. Hashtag Team Vanessa. She's awesome. She's the best. And Vanessa, again, thank you so much. Have an incredible rest of the weekend, and I'll be definitely be seeing the next one.
Thank you so much. Have a good weekend and
All
see you
right,
soon.
that
Bye.
that's a wrap.